Hi everyone, Jack Willard here. It's early Monday morning, and on Sunday afternoon, the 10th of December, 2023, I recorded a pre-recorded video entitled Elvis and Bob Joyce Fans Don't Like Priscilla. I did that because it occurred to me that in the 5 years I've been talking about the Bob Joyce topic, I've never gotten a positive comment. No one has ever said anything really positive about Priscilla. And I thought, well, here I am, the chronological storyteller. There's a Priscilla movie that's been out for a while. There's the situation going on at Graceland, which seems to be settled now between Priscilla and Riley. And that's all part of the story. It's all public record from public people, and all I'm doing is putting it all together, and as a chronological storyteller would do, reporting what they have said in the media, TMZ, various publications. It's all out there. It's all been talked about. And when you're a public person, you accept that your life will be talked about in the public. So I did that in this video, and it quickly started to get some hits. And as I talk to you now, it's like 500 hits, not too bad at all. And so there's an interest in it. Well, in the last month, one of my longtime viewers, well, not that long, but been watching for a while, they sent me an email. I respect when someone wants to chastise me and they do it in an email rather than publicly. And we can talk more thoroughly about the topic. You know, I can share my heart, and you can share yours in a better way than if we put it out there for everybody to read. So they told me basically they wouldn't be watching anymore because they weren't going to be interested in the Bob Joyce topic. They used some scripture, and this is something that's been on my mind for 5 years. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Thinking about a number of scriptures and what have you. And so they did that. At one time, they had told me if I ever stopped talking about Bob Joyce, they wouldn't watch me anymore, you know. They didn't mind that I did other topics, but if you don't talk about Bob Joyce, I'm not watching anymore. I've done my own investigation, and I'm sure Bob Joyce is Elvis, that kind of thing. But at least they did it in an email, which is, to me, less of an ambush, you know, because I always suspect either conscious or subconscious malicious intent when I put up a brand new video and someone rushes to their keyboard, probably without using too much thought, and just rattles off a composition that can easily have the effect of killing the video if or certainly giving it a negative impact if they've already watched it, you know. Um, and they use scripture, again, to do it. But yet they're just fine with me covering the Bob Joyce topic in general and recommend over and over and over things I need to watch on YouTube concerning the Elvis/Bob Joyce topic, you know. Um, but the Priscilla topic, I thought, since I am the storyteller, deserved an update. And it did stick out in my mind that I've never really heard anyone say anything positive. And that is something that you would note. That is something that you would note. So we updated people on the Priscilla movie. How did it do at the box office? What was the reaction? I watched the trailer. I have not seen the movie. It's now nowhere around where I am. I assume pretty soon from now it'll be on Prime Video. You'll have to buy it. I don't know if they'll debut it at the highest price, which is usually $19.99, because it only did $20 million worldwide at the box office. We talk about that. And the film cost almost $20 million to make, you know. So that was important that we cover that part because there's an Elvis character in the Priscilla movie, if you don't know. They used a Elvis imitator, Jacob, who, from what I've seen, is good. But they couldn't use the Elvis music. They weren't given the rights to do it. All right. So we did that. And then it was natural that I would segue into talking about the Graceland situation. What Lisa Marie, first of all, had to say about the Priscilla movie, and she didn't like it. We talk about that. And then to segue into the conflict between Priscilla and her granddaughter Riley. Riley was given Graceland. She was put in charge of Graceland. And that's newsworthy, and it's been talked about on all the entertainment shows. So all I was doing was putting it all together. Um, and then the person who wrote the essay decided to use scripture and kind of infer I should have never done the topic and this is why and what have you. Well, you could say that about all parts of the Bob Joyce topic, you know, and use scripture too there. But they love the Bob Joyce topic. They wouldn't say that concerning the Bob Joyce slash Elvis story in general, but they took they took issue with me talking about Priscilla. Now, I'll say one thing, realizing that my audience doesn't really have an appetite for saying positive things about Priscilla. I note that in the video. I didn't mount much of a defense about why she may have done some of the things that she did or felt the way she did. I will a little bit now, but I knew there wouldn't be much of an appetite for it to be honest. So it wasn't any kind of a hit job. We used information that's been reported everywhere. And I thought, as the chronological storyteller, we should update that part of the story. We should get it out there, you know. But Priscilla, you know, first of all, even in the Austin Butler Tom Hanks movie, it showed how Elvis could be a hothead and be, difficult. He's a human being. Some people want to make him this like angel that never did anything wrong. And there's not one of us that could fulfill that. We're all flawed vessels. If I were to talk about the Albert Goldman Elvis book, or they were to do a movie on that book, oh, I can't imagine the reaction from the hardcore Elvis fans, you know. But a lot of what he said in the book, I read it many, many years ago, was well sourced. He wasn't an Elvis fan, and that bothered me, but he said some very positive things about Elvis as well. But he told a lot of the struggle, the drug addiction, prescription drugs that Dr. Nick had a lot to do with because Elvis was in terrible pain. And then he talked about the reality of being the king of rock and roll, and women are just falling all over you, and you can have just about any one of them that you want. And there aren't too many men that would be able to deal with that temptation. Numerous times I've heard that after Priscilla got pregnant, he kind of lost interest in intimacy with her. I don't know whether that's true, but it's kind of funny. I've heard it a number of times from several different sources, and I don't care to really expound on that. But what I'm saying is we don't know all that Priscilla had to deal with. The feeling of abandonment and what have you, as she was there alone so much of the time. So I'm not judging her. I'm not judging you. I am not mad at anybody. But what I'm saying is that When you do a video and someone comes on and they just sit there and say, "Let me see what's going to come to my head. Let me write it all down." And what you're doing is you're whether you know it or not, you're taking what the creator created instead of making private critiques. You're putting it out there, and what can happen is you're killing the video. So any creator is going to say the hell with that and take it down. And then if the user keeps it up, block the user from the channel. That's normal routine uh, channel management, just like I block someone who makes fun of the people who believe that Elvis may still be alive. So that's what we were doing. We were just bringing the story up to date. Over 500 people have watched it so far. But as I have said, you could take any part of the Bob Joyce story and what we have talked about for 5 years and then use scripture to say, this is why you shouldn't do it. And then you could use other scriptures and you could use facts like Bob Joyce became a public person in 2011. That was his decision to do it when he started a worldwide ministry right here on YouTube. He knew the reaction he would get. Even if he is not Elvis, he still knew people would think that and that people would watch because of that. He knew that. He's a very smart man. He's a very smart man. In the same year is when they filmed Bob with Matt Joyce at Denton's in Benton, and here he is singing American Trilogy. Didn't want to, but Matt kept pushing him to do more, and then finished the song. And when he went to full voice in American Trilogy, a lot of people felt at that point they were certain of who he was. So those are his decisions. All the hints he gives are his decisions. He has fun with the topic. You could say he's just having fun with the topic. Who knows? I don't really have an invested interest, really. I mean, for almost 5 years, I did the topic for free. And yes, there came a time when we were able to monetize, and it brings a certain amount of money. Those guys with the slick editing, and they take other people's work, or they take even church video and they put it all together, montages and stuff, get a lot more hits and do much better than me, and that's fine. That's fine. I can only do what I can do. I like being able to use my gifts here at YouTube. And here's the truth. There are people that say, well, Jack, they say this about the live shows, especially. We like all the topics you talk about usually. We like to hear you talk about all the topics. But when I do a pre-recorded video on a topic that has nothing to do with Bob Joyce, you can learn a lot right there. If I stop talking about Bob Joyce, and someday I'm gonna, we'll go, unless I find another magic topic, and that's what the creator is always trying to find, I will go to less than 200 views on everything. That's just the reality. There'll be certainly, it won't matter that I'm monetized. I'll be making enough to ride the subway in New York City, but then again, who would ever want to go to New York City and ride the subway? They're making sure that nobody upstate, especially people of a certain age, feels safe in New York City. They're worried about abolishing the term sanitary napkins. I have a video on that on the channel here, but they don't care about stopping the crime, stopping the horrific violence, etc., etc. And the police are very frustrated because they don't have support, knowing that the DA won't back them up. How did I get started on that? It's because I care about other topics, and I'm always trying. You can see here in the listing of our videos many other topics that I hope people will check out. So that's that. That's what you do when someone puts up a long comment that it seems they did off the top of their head publicly, and it's going to have a negative effect on what you've just done, and you don't agree with it, or you understand their point of view, but you feel that they recklessly brought forth their opinions. and it can have the effect of discouraging others from watching. No, I'm not stupid. No, that's a bridge too far for me. So that's all I have to say. We enjoyed the live show this past week. Hopefully, we'll get to do one Saturday night. Got that procedure on Wednesday at Westchester Medical Center, and hopefully we'll be well on Saturday to do a live show. I want to close with something I've said many times. When I began talking about Pastor Bob Joyce, I thought, well, since I'm talking about a real person here, uh, I want to find out if he is okay with me doing this topic. Others were already doing it, but I'm going to do it a little differently. And when you tell the story chronologically, it does have a certain impact. I want to be sure. So if he wasn't, I offered the opportunity for him to video call me, so I knew it was him. And if he asked me to take down the videos, I would. I said that 5+ years ago, and he's never done that. No other creator has done that I know of. So that's all I got to say about that. Take care, everybody.